What up, world? We're props.com here. It's Wednesday. It's another grind of an NBA slate. Injury news, chaos, everything. Giannis Antetokounmpo rumors. Will he be traded? Will he get extended? The Lord only knows. We will find out in the coming weeks, according to Shams. We will see if Giannis will keep playing for the Bucks, who are in total disarray. But that's another day's problem. It's Wednesday. We're talking DFS, prop bet, sports betting. Do us a favor if you like what you hear. If you've been sticking with us for NBA or NFL, please get over there and give our YouTube channel a follow. We would greatly appreciate it. We will keep giving you this free content. I'm the Luch. Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. I'm with Keith Eister and Justin Bales. Keith Eister smashed the prop scene yesterday. Perfect day at props.com. Gotta love those days. There are a bunch of swings and betting. You crushed it yesterday, and all of our content at props.com is free. If you were tailing Keith, you made some money on the house. Keith, big day for you. Was that one of your better NBA days?
Yeah, you always love to get the sweep. Like the 5-1 days or whatever, that you win 90% of your bets. That's a good day too. But when you can bring it home and just fully sweep the board, it is fantastic. Thought we were going to come up a little bit short on Sadiq Bey rebounds, but we got the overtime period and he cashed it like right away in the overtime. No sweat necessary. Everything else was pretty clean from there. Nice little day. You love the sweeps for sure.
You know, you wake up, you scroll on your socials, you see one of your buddies going viral. Justin Bales, celebrity overnight. Unreal.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if people want to take my tweets and they want to put them on the big stuff on Instagram, granted, I don't have Instagram myself. It's like one of the ones. I don't have TikTok either. I'm not a huge social guy. But yeah, I mean, who would have thought that just like 2 weeks ago, watching Finley Bizjack dominate, send out a nice little tweet, not too much to it, and all of a sudden TNT's posting it to their Instagram. It's a strange world we live in, honestly.
I should have called up the screenshot. Yeah, nothing like scrolling and seeing, wait, is that Bales on the Bleacher Report Hoops and TNT Instagram? Like, dude, this is you. So, modest guy. I'm glad we got a celeb on the show. It makes me feel pretty good about what will be going on here, Keith. We'll have to step our game up now that Bales is on the show. Jeez.
For real. If he's not good at social media and he's getting those types of retweets, like what do we need to do?
Yeah. We have a loaded NBA slate here. Just some injuries to highlight. I'm sure there's more on the way. Bunch of questionable tags. Denny, who's been a baller for Portland, he is questionable. Jamal Murray, questionable. PJ Washington, Donovan Clingan, Daniel Gafford, Kevin Porter Jr., who shot like 90% from the field the other night, Duncan Robinson, Trey Jones got the midday downgrade to questionable. Probable is Jokic, Giannis, LaMelo, and that fairy tale in Charlotte might be ending soon too. Malik Monk. Doubtful is Isaac Okoro. Out, recently ruled out Norman Powell. I might be missing a few from earlier in the day or last night about today's slate. Not sure. But when we go game by game here, we will we'll get to that. So that being said, anything you guys want to bring up about today's slate, or should we just get to it?
Nothing specific for me.
All right. Game one, Orlando, San Antonio, 7 o'clock Eastern here. Interesting stuff here. Anthony Black, 5,500 on DK. Guy has been chucking. We've seen some good usage rates. I wrote his points prop up earlier today, so naturally I'm sure he's going to burn me. He's frustrating. But they've been leaning on some guys without Palo in the lineup. Desmond Bane has been driving to the rack at an unbelievable rate. Just driving. And we know he can shoot the three too. I mean, he's putting up massive point totals, 55 DK points against Detroit. Didn't even hit a three in that game, as you can see. So Orlando is an interesting matchup. The Spurs are on the second leg of a back-to-back. My days are blending together. But obviously we have a little bit to unpack here. De'Aaron Fox, just like since all this time that Wemby and Castle have been out, he's had like one ceiling game. His price has come down a little bit. But I mean, I feel weird saying it, but overall, I'm kind of disappointed in the fantasy point output of Fox as he's been in the saddle. So, just general thoughts on this one, Keith. I'll throw it over to you first.
I'll start with that De'Aaron Fox note that you just threw out there. I kind of agree with you. I expected him to just be absolutely filling it up. He's been fine. He's scoring like 25 points a night, which we expected. But the assists haven't been great. He does have a couple spike assist games in there, but they're I don't know. You just kind of expected him to take over this team. Like there's really no competition for him. Like they get Dylan Harper back, but he's still on a minutes restriction. So he's competing with like Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes. Like De'Aaron Fox is better than these dudes. He should be nuking some DFS slates, and we just haven't quite seen it. That price tag at 8,900, I think, is pretty nice though, because that ceiling is still in there. We saw it a bunch when he was kind of the guy for the Kings. It's been a year since we've seen that, but it's still in there, I think. So I'll chase some De'Aaron Fox. No prop for me on the Kings side. I do have. I'm with you on the Anthony Black stuff. This dude has just been playing out of his mind. You see a star go down. You never like to see that, but what occasionally will happen is a young guy will step up and fill that role and fill it in a big way that nobody expected. That has been Anthony Black here. I like him on the PRA as well. The points he's been scoring a ton. It's like 16 points a game since Paulo went down. He's averaging like over 3.5 rebounds and assists as well. So the 21.5 PRA, I don't mind at all. One of my favorite props of the day.
I'm seeing a points prop as low as 13.5 for Black. It just
Yep.
The anxiety in me is going, what a trap. Like, why is that number so low? But the shots have been there. I like the
just a couple
PRA.
of thoughts on that real quick. Like the Spurs defense is graded out okay, but they're missing the defensive player of the year. Like that's where these defensive season long numbers are coming from. So like this is not a good defense right now. They don't play at an especially fast pace, which is a little concerning, but I think that it's an underrated matchup because the Spurs season long numbers look so great because of Wemby. Nice spot to take advantage of, I think.
Bell's thoughts on this one? Anything jumping out at you?
Yeah, I think you go with 2 point guards. I mean, both teams are legitimately two of the worst in the entire NBA, even on the season as well, against scoring point guards. De'Aaron Fox is at 25.5 points. I think you can take that. Anthony Black, I know you just said 13.5 some places. Most places sit on 14.5. It's too low. He's been playing extremely well. They don't, even like with Wemby in for much of the season, like they're still not good against point guards because you can just shoot against them then. Granted, Keith is 100% right. You take Wemby out and all of a sudden, like you can have a bad defense, put Wemby in and it becomes a good defense because of how crazy he is. Take him out and a good defense becomes a bad one. Outside of that, I mean, I think you can take a few shots. One, Jalen Suggs is like reasonable. I think his is still only at like 15.5. You can take a shot on like Devin Vassell. I don't have any problems with that. Desmond Bane is obviously the guy that has more or less completely taken over for Paolo there. So I think that he's completely fine. I think the guy that is like so obviously wrong is Anthony Black, which, as Luch said, does set us up for some failure. But I don't know. It just feels too good to be true. But like everything is there. There's like nothing that you're that concerned about, excluding like Anthony Black just isn't a next level shooter. Like outside of that, what are you even really that concerned about here?
So, yeah, he's burned me in the past too in big ways. Right when I trust, he's one of those guys. Right when I start to trust him, we form this alliance, and then he breaks my trust. And
so I've been in like kind of down on Anthony Black in the past. We're seeing this is a different dude that we're seeing this time around. I feel pretty confident in that there's a legitimate step forward here, and it's not just like a hot stretch. Like this guy was a lottery pick, like at the top of the draft. I think he was 6th overall or something like that. So the pedigree is there, and I do think we've actually seen a step forward here.
if you can decipher what's just a hot streak and what's not, that's why the NBA is so beautiful. Like there is growth. There are things that aren't baked in the odds makers, setting lines and projections. And, if you could pick up on something that's huge, and if you're buying a breakout for Anthony Black, then you're hitting these numbers and you're not thinking twice. I'm in for tonight as well. Can we talk about Harrison Barnes on the screen here? AKA Mr. 100%, AKA Black Falcon, according to basketballreference.com. made 7 threes the other night, 20 shots, season high, 27% usage rate. I mean, come on, he's playing major minutes, 5,100. You know, he is so inconsistent. If he shoots the ball 20 times again, then so be it. 7 of 12 from 3. Probably game of the year for Harrison Barnes, right? I mean, like, people are going to go back to him, though, the game log hunters, and that's fine. But the tag is getting crazy, and if he hits 7 threes again, I'll let that beat me in the DFS streets. Thoughts?
Totally agree. Give me Keldon Johnson over Harry Barnes any day.
I even go Devin Vassell. I know, obviously, different positions, but like they're both forward. If you can get thrown in the forward spot, Vassell's only 1,000 more, and granted, very reliant on scoring, but it's a good scoring matchup for him. So, yeah, I agree. I think Harrison Barnes, you probably are chasing if you're looking for another ceiling game.
Well, who are the priorities for Orlando, Keith? If you're playing cash games, there's going to be a lot of interest in Anthony Black at the price. Jalen Suggs, I mean, he's getting up there, and we haven't seen him hit 5x at this tag in a number of games here. But if he does score the basketball, you can see the defensive chaos he causes and 4 steals. If he scores 20 points and has 4 steals in a game, he's going to nuke. So I guess, like, who are the cash game looks, and is Suggs more of a tournament play at this point?
Yeah, I think Suggs is more of a tournament play. I don't mind the price, but it's a touch too expensive on a big slate. On a smaller slate, he'd be absolutely fine at this spot. But I do think you want a little bit more safety in that. And I know he got ejected that one game, and that's kind of skewing the numbers a little bit, but still, like, 7,200 is a pretty decent ask. And he's been incredible, don't get me wrong. But when you have almost the same guy for 5,500 and Anthony Black, like, that's the cash play. I know it sounds weird to say that, but that's just the way that I feel. I feel better about Anthony Black at 5,500 than I do Jalen Suggs at 7,200. You touched on Bane a little bit. He's been incredible. If you use like a last guy in type of thing, I wouldn't call you crazy for playing Bane, but Black is the first option here. Anything else in this one, Mr. Bales, or should we move on to Portland, Cleveland?
No, I think we can move past it.
All right, Denny is questionable. He's obviously a huge one. Monster season, just incredible. I mean, like, he's averaging what, almost 1.5 fantasy points per minute. He's unbelievable. Sounds like the Wizards trading away somebody who starts blossoming. I can't even say he's a good player in a bad team anymore because Portland's not even bad. They're competitive, and dare I say they're fun. But just a monster and a matchup nightmare with his skill set. He's a beast for fantasy production. You know, it's not your mama's Cavaliers team, right? It's time to start taking 2025 trends and stats like heavily into consideration. This Cleveland team is top 10 in pace. They are, pretty good defensively, but they're not a juggernaut by any means. So, like, the matchup isn't a turnoff for me. He's obviously a big deal. You have Drew Holiday, who's still out. Obviously, they're missing pieces, right? I mean, Shaedon Sharpe finally got back. He's up to 30 minutes. He's been battling some injuries throughout the season. God, his usage, without looking, I just know it's through the roof without Denny and Drew on the floor. So what do we do here? Because, Klingon is obviously a big one as well. This is a big hypothetical team we're going to have to heavily monitor throughout the day. I mean, Robert Williams is kind of a low-key, sneaky guy to take out of this rotation. Chris Murray, although he stinks at basketball, he's questionable as well, so he's worth noting. Kamara had a huge first half yesterday. Really didn't do much in the second half, but a nice game nonetheless at the price. And Jeremy Grant at times has flashed this year. So a lot to digest here. Keith, so many hypotheticals here and what ifs. But, like, what are some of these scenarios that can play out? As things stand, let's say Denny's in and Klingon is also in. Are there any priorities here? And if either one are out, what are you doing here tonight?
I think Denny is a priority. The matchup against Cleveland is not ideal, but they do play fast at least. So while they're a good defense, this is a pretty decent game environment. The only concern here is Portland keeping up, and the best way for them to do that is for Denny to just keep doing Denny things. So he is a priority for me on this slate as a spend up. He's shown a ceiling unlike a lot of people. Like, name whatever star you want, and Denny Avdia's ceiling is probably actually higher, unless you're talking about Luka or Jokic. Like I think you have an argument to compare him to like a Giannis type of ceiling. Like, that's legitimately Denny's ceiling at this point. 9,400 is fine. It's not the best matchup in the world, but if Portland is able to keep up in this spot, like, we have seen this dude, it's different every night. It's 15 boards or it's 15 assists. Like, he can do either one. And then he's scoring the basketball at a really high rate as well. So Denny's a priority if he's in. If he's out, like, there's tons of value opening up here. Jeremy Grant would be the first name on the list. He's done it before, even this season. I know that's not necessarily the role that he plays on this team. That's why I like this Portland team, is veterans like Jeremy Grant and Drew Holiday play their role really, really nicely. But if Grant is asked to go out there and fill it up, like, he absolutely can still do that. So Jeremy Grant at 6,100 would be a huge priority without Denny. I think you have to look at Toumani Camara in that situation as well. Sharp would normally be like the first guy I look to, but I think he's still limited here. So, like, that leaves open some room for Camara, who has actually been playing a little bit better here. He's always played well defensively. It's just whether he's going to take the shots or not. He's had double-digit shots in each of his last 4 games. I think that would be the guy that I look to also without Avdia. The Klingon situation I don't think is as important. You've said something there about Robert Williams being a little bit sneaky.
Yep.
And it's not who fills the Robert Williams role for me. It's Donovan Klingon is the sneaky play here, because it raises the minutes floor on Klingon. Like, they've tried some Duop Reith minutes and some Hanson Yang minutes. Like, those guys, I don't think they're necessarily invested in that yet. Like, Yang is still just a little bit too raw. Reith, we've seen that play out a couple of times. So, like, Klingon could play 28 minutes, 30 minutes maybe in this spot, assuming that he's good to go. And we've seen him put up some monster games when he can play those type of minutes.
Love that call. Hey, by the way, if you take Denny and Drew off the floor, Shaden Sharp in 98 minutes has a 42% usage rate this year. What do you say about that, Justin Bales? What's his ceiling? Maybe he's capped around 30 minutes still. Who knows? Shaden Sharp thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because I would assume that he's not locked into big minutes yet. I would assume he's still a little limited. But, like, for over 40% usage is so ridiculous. And
an
like,
okay sample. It's like an okay sample.
yeah,
right?
it's not like unbelievable. And when you look at like who else is on the floor, there's no one that comes onto the floor that you're like, oh yeah, he'll steal some usage from him. Like, that's why Sharps is so high, because when those are the guys on the floor, they're just like, dude, do whatever you want. Like, you're by far the best option. So I don't know. It's tough because I don't ever like playing like overly limited guys. But yeah, I mean, he can score in a hurry, and the dude probably is going to be needed a little bit because of the other guards on the other side for Cleveland. So yeah, like it's a weird way to put it, where like the upside is there, but the ceiling isn't there, if that makes sense.
Oh no, it totally does. I love the Klingon shout out. He's still extremely affordable. And I think those are really sneaky, Robert Williams minutes that no one else is gonna take on in a fairly competitive game. So I mean, we've seen it, a near 60-point performance earlier this year, and I do believe a lot of his bigger games were without Robert Williams when he was active. So, a sneaky play that I would imagine most people aren't going to play on a slate of this size. So, anything on the Cleveland side, fellas, or should we keep going?
I think we have to talk about what Donnie Mitchell's doing. He's just been incredible. Garland back doesn't scare me one bit. Donnie Mitchell's still going to get his for sure. I think he has an insane ceiling right now that's maybe a little bit overlooked. He's doing enough assisting and rebounding to get to 60 fantasy points on a fairly frequent basis. And this Portland matchup is one of the best in the league. They play at a top 3 pace. and their defense is not that great either. I'm pulling up the defensive rating right now, just so 21st in defensive rating. And on top of that, you're taking Drew Holiday off the court, who is one of the best, still at his advanced age, one of the best perimeter defenders in all the league. This is a smash spot for Donnie Mitchell. I don't care if Garland's back. I don't care who's in or out for Cleveland. Give me some Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, Keith nailed it. Mitchell is just like almost 40 points in like 3 of his last 5. Like it's just the run he's on is unreal. And when you watched him coming out of Louisville, like you knew, oh, this was a kid that when he gets hot, he just goes. And I mean, we're years deep into his career. And at every point in time when he gets hot, he just goes. Well, right now he's on one of those streaks. The only thing I will say is that, Portland is just so bad against point guards that like, if Cleveland just wants to be like, hey, Garland, go get some points too, he's going to also do that. Like it's an option. The thing is, though, they can pretty easily just command switches in which, Mitchell then gets the quote unquote point guard matchup in terms of the defense coming there. So, yeah, I think Mitchell is the obvious guy. I think that Garland also, and I do think that there's a scenario where like, you could see Mitchell drop like 35, Garland drop 25, and they just both completely go off.
What do you need in DFS to start playing Jalen Tyson as is, Keith, at this price? Do you need anything? Can you play him in the tournament pool?
I think you could play him in a tournament today. I don't think you should expect 50 fantasy points from him with Darius Garland back on the floor. But Jared Allen is still out, and he's proven a capable rebounder. So a sneaky double-double that backs you into 40 fantasy points, I think is on the table. So, yeah, I'd play him right now, even with some guys back for Cleveland.
I mean, like, he was uber efficient, 10 of 13 shots against the Pacers, 22% usage rate. But you mentioned he's a capable rebounder. Like, he's finding ways to accumulate fantasy points. I mean, even against Boston a couple games ago, 35 fantasy points. It took 18 shots. Wouldn't expect that again, obviously. Only made 6 of them, though, and still was, nearly 7x value. So I think he's a guy who's trending. He's finding his footing. He's starting to grow. He's kind of taking that leap. Like, I'm okay with having him in the large field tournament pool in such a good matchup. I guess that's pretty much it for me. I know they're missing, a number of bodies there, like including Lonzo Ball. So there's some other bodies, that are going to take some minutes, but his versatility will keep him on the floor. And it's kind of like keeping DeAndre Hunter off the floor. I feel like they had visions of playing him like 35 minutes a game, and they're like, damn, all right, Jalen Tyson is actually getting better and maybe as good as DeAndre Hunter in most aspects. So
Tyson was like legitimately really good in college. And granted, he was a little bit older than other guys, but he was legitimately good in college. And then when he came out, like he was the epitome of you tell me my role, I'm going to do my role. And like in the NBA, when you're not Donovan Mitchell, that earns you minutes. And like, no offense to like DeAndre Hunter or anything, I actually do think that Hunter's pretty good. But if you remember, he came into the NBA as like a 3-and-D guy. And now he's trying to expand a little bit into more. And it feels like they kind of want Jalen Tyson to do the role versus Hunter try to take games over a little bit more.
Our guy Grande in the chat, Desmond Bain is the Doug Martin of the NBA, muscle hamster. R.I.P. Doug Martin. That was sad news a couple weeks ago or about a month ago it was. Doug Martin had those couple of years, man. He was a first-round fantasy pick. Those are good times. But yeah, Desmond Bain is a beast. Hey, there's 370 of you watching. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us as we slowly slow roll out a bunch of new shows over here at props.com. Props.com, where all of our stuff is 100% free. Keith Eister swept the NBA prop world yesterday. All of his stuff was free. Bales puts a bunch of stuff out there. I got some stuff out there. We have hockey. We have some Thursday Night Football stuff already. Do us a favor. Give us a follow on our YouTube, our props.com YouTube, where we're live right now. We appreciate that. Moving on here. Let's go pick up the pace a little bit here. It's almost 4:30 Eastern, and we'll start getting some news in, as the late afternoon concludes. Jokic has a designation here. He's probable. Jamal Murray might be legitimately questionable here. So this is another hypothetical. They're already without Aaron Gordon. They are without Braun. If you're missing Jamal Murray, we'll just cut to the chase here. If you're missing Jamal Murray, Keith, where are you running here?
I mean, it's how many times can I fit $13,000 Nikola Jokic into my lineup? Like, as many lineups as you're playing, that's how many times you should try to do it. Obviously, you're not going to get to 100%, but the dude almost triple-doubled in the first quarter in his last game. Shout out to Grande, who's in the chat there. I happened to be on a show with him when that was happening. What else can we say about this man? He's the best player on the planet. If he is without his other star teammate, like, obviously, Jokic is going to be an absolute smash. I don't care what the price is. You got to find a way to get to him, even if Jamal Murray's in. And Jamal Murray is playing really well. So if Jamal Murray plays, I have some interest there as well. Now, with the injury, I don't think he's as big of a priority as maybe his play suggests he should be. But Jokic, like, just whatever the situation, find a way to play him.
Oh, God. The numbers, Bales. 78 minutes Jokic has played this year without Aaron Gordon, without Christian Braun, and hypothetically without Jamal Murray. 78 minutes. 34% usage rate, which brings you to, 68 DK points per 36 minutes on average. I mean, Keith, you pretty much nailed it. What about the other? I mean, comment on Jokic for sure, Bales. But what about some of these other guys? Are there any lines you want to keep on watch if Jamal Murray gets ruled out?
I mean, there's not a ton, if we're being honest. I think it's just like, even if Jamal Murray's in, like, this is just such a good spot for Jokic. Like, Indiana can't guard him. There's no one that, like, they already are bad against centers. Well, Jokic is like the epitome of any basketball player, but center especially. There's Jokic is what I like in this game. That's about it. I think Peyton Watson is like, I see that you just pulled him up. I think he's nice for like the price tag in DFS because he's getting the minutes. He's like a good player. I like Peyton Watson. I just think, like, if you're looking at mostly anything in this game, it's Jokic, and that's kind of where I'm at. I really don't even like anything on the Pacer side. I mean, like, Mathurin points. Like, we always just say whatever you can throw that. I don't even like it that much, but like, if you're taking something, I guess go with that. But Jokic or pretty much nothing for this game for me.
I mean, Keith, in terms of value for DFS, would we see, some 4,900 Bruce Brown? I mean, in the past, that was a thing. Cam Johnson, we thought he was on track, and he's just been so inconsistent with his shot. I mean, Tim Hardaway allegedly is a thing now. Big minutes. I mean, I wouldn't hate some Tim Hardaway in this type of game environment for tournaments if we're looking for cheap value if Jamal Murray's out. Any thoughts?
Yeah. Cam Johnson's the name that you said there that definitely piques the interest because he should be really good in this role. Like, he was awful to begin, and then he started to kind of pick it up when Christian Braun went out. And, like, it makes sense. Like, Brown plays that floor spacer role a little bit as well. So Johnson running into a little bit extra there made some sense, and then it kind of just went away last game. I don't think it's completely gone, though. I still have hopes for Cameron Johnson playing alongside Nikola Jokic. I would get there for sure. Hardaway's kind of the same play, but just off the bench and less minutes, but same idea. Also can absolutely fill it up. Brown's a little bit tough. I'd be interested to see what they do at the point guard, honestly. Like, they're not going to start Jalen Pickett, are they? Like,
I think you just hammer Jokic alt assists.
If Murray's out, what do you guys do with Spencer Jones? Because Spencer Jones at times will play a little bit of point guard. And
maybe that's the answer. I don't. Do you think they would start Pickett? Because I really don't.
It's tough. I doubt it. I think that they would probably just run. I mean, they already do run so much of the offense through Jokic, but they probably would have. I think Jones would get a little bit of a bump. I think he would handle the ball a little bit, but yeah, I don't think that they start Pickett. And I think if they do, Pickett plays like maybe like 15 minutes. Like, I don't think that they're going to feel good about giving him like even 25 minutes.
Yeah, I guess that does give me they might ask Brown to run some point too. So I suppose, like, I always struggle with the Bruce Brown thing, but Jamal Murray is a huge deal for sure.
If Murray's out, I hope he plays for DFS purposes. Like I just feel like one of those, Spencer Jones, Hardaway, Cam Johnson, Bruce, one of them might break the slate. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know how to tier them or rank them. Don't ask me to rank them. Please no. Please no. Don't do it, Grande. I know you're in the chat. Don't ask me to rank them.
Maybe Grande can throw his thoughts in the chat there.
Yeah, there we go.
On that, on what happens if Jamal Murray's out? Who starts at point? Because they could slide Najee in at the wing, and then if we think Spencer Jones can play the point, maybe that's the route.
All right, we don't know definitive news there, so let's move on. Clippers and Hawks. Kawhi Leonard. I mean, guy's been nails. He's been talking a lot of smack about the lack of talent on his team, and he's just been balling out and backing it up. 8,100, cheap. Like, Atlanta still doesn't scare me, although their defense is better this year on paper. I have no reasons to not play. Kawhi's going to give you a ridiculous floor tonight in this game. So I like Kawhi for his floor. Still kind of hovering around that 30-minute mark. That's the only thing I don't like. James Harden, I just don't get him right, guys. Like,
he got benched. I don't know.
He did get benched, yeah. And just in general, I feel like he does like. I don't know what the splits are, but I feel like he does really great in the first half and always duds in the second half. I feel like I'm watching my lineups and like my lines and the bets. Like, wow, he's gonna smash. He's got like a bajillion PRA and it's halftime. And then it's like I get hooked because he doesn't show up to play the third and fourth quarters. And maybe Kawhi is throwing some shade at Harden, doesn't want to call anybody out specifically, and maybe it's the beard. I don't know. The guy who claimed Daryl Morey is a liar about something. I don't know. What do you do with this team? Bales, I'll keep you on your toes. Shoot it over to you first. And just thoughts on this game and the Kawhi and Harden situations.
Yeah, I mean, I have no clue. I would assume that Kawhi is not going to the media without going to his teammates as well. So whoever he's talking about, I'm sure knows it in the locker room. I don't feel good about James Harden, especially after his last game, but Atlanta is pretty bad against guards. And like, didn't Harden just drop like 55 points the other night or something? Like it's there. He can do it. You can't feel good about it in any way, shape, or form, but like get him in the right spot. And this is a good spot. Atlanta's really bad against scoring guards. And Harden can go off. On the other side, I also think, the Clippers are just really bad against shooting guards. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker has quietly just been dominant. I liked him when he came out. Then obviously he sat around a little bit. He wasn't using like these massive roles. The Wolves gave him a little bit bigger of a role and he looked pretty good. And then he went to Atlanta and I wasn't really 100% sure what was going to happen. And then Trae Young went down and Alexander-Walker looks like he has just taken a massive step forward. He looks like legitimately good. So I think that you can take him for Atlanta. Do you guys know what his points? His points are at 20.5. I mean, that's high, but it's still too low, honestly, for the matchup. I think that that's a good spot. And then I think if you play Harden, like you probably ladder. You probably ladder and go for upside because like it's hard to trust him at just like the static number of basically even odds. But the upside's obviously, like we just saw him drop over 50. So if you want to take a little bit of a chance there, I'm not 100% sure what he's at, but I think that you can ladder and just go for like more or less some high upside there.
Yeah. Keith, talk to me here. We got Grande in the chat saying Jalen Johnson is the best player in the NBA. We'll get to Atlanta, but talk to me about the Clippers first.
Yeah, I want to talk about some Kawhi Leonard because you rattled off some really good stuff there, and he's doing it all on a minutes restriction. What happens if the minutes restriction goes away? And I don't know that we're necessarily going to get that announcement. We're just going to turn over the cards, and all of a sudden he's played 36 minutes, and he has 65 fantasy points and absolutely breaks the slate at this price tag. So I love Kawhi Leonard today. I don't know what's going on with James Harden. I think the field's going to get there in this matchup. I probably won't as often. I will just play Kawhi Leonard. His points over is one of my favorite bets of the day. I was in at 22.5. I'm only seeing 23.5 out there, but I still like it at that number. This is a guy who, when he plays full minutes, averages over 26 points a game. 23.5 is not a number that I'm scared in this up-tempo environment against the Hawks. So I like that a ton. I don't know what to do with Harden, so I probably just stay away. Zubac has been good, but I think there are better plays. He has a nice ceiling. Like I wouldn't try to talk anyone out of playing him, but not someone that I'm prioritizing today. On the Atlanta side, Bales absolutely nailed it. It's Nickeil Alexander-Walker's show, and we're all just sitting in it. Outside of Jalen Johnson, he's running his own show. We'll get to him too, but love the Alexander Walker call. Over 20.5 points is another one of my favorite bets of the entire slate. Just incredible usage from him, has really settled into the role as one of the priority options in the offense. For that reason, I like Dyson Daniels' assist number as well, sitting at 5.5. This Clippers defense is atrocious, which is wild to say because they've been a top defensive team with a lot of these same pieces. Now they are missing a couple of those pieces at this moment, but they're like bottom of the league defense at this point. They're 27th in defensive rating. Like this defense is very, very beatable right now. I have a lot of interest in these Hawks. Alexander Walker is my preferred option just because I like a couple other spend ups a lot more than not a lot more than Jalen Johnson, but a little bit more than Jalen Johnson. I can't say a bad word about the guy. Grande's not wrong that he is like every time we think we've seen the ceiling from this guy, he takes it to another level. Like he has shown us multiple times that he has 70 DK points in his bag. We've seen a 90 in there. Like what can't this guy do? Just big slate. I'm not quite getting there because I like some of the cheaper stuff a little bit better.
I get it. Jalen, but like he had 50 some odd fantasy points in a game where his team didn't crack 100 the other night. Not cracking 100 points in this day and age of the NBA is ludicrous. And he, what if he was in an average game environment? He would have went for 65. So I kind of like that ownership's down for large field tournament stuff. If I'm playing small field, I'm with you. He's up at that price range where it's, kind of just feel better about some other guys. But think about what you're saying out loud. If we feel that way, that's how most of the field's going to feel too. So
you're not wrong about that.
It's not a completely far-fetched angle to sprinkle in some Jalen and some large field stuff. The Kawhi Harden thing's strange. Nearly 170 minutes that they've played together on the court without Bradley Beal. Harden averages 42 DK points per 36 minutes. It's not going to cut it for a $9,600 player. Granted, that's just one sample size. It's James Harden. We've seen the ceiling, like you said. Kawhi, the minutes thing, I get it. If it discreetly gets lifted, I would much rather play Kawhi $1,500 cheaper on DK. Yeah, and Grande said, here he is. I'll highlight the comment. On the second leg of a back-to-back after 2 OT was that Detroit game.
Yes.
And he's still
and Detroit's defense is legit, too. So, I'm not holding that against him by any means.
Our guy, J Perk, in the chat, talking about Harden might have been out for the Magic City for the Wings last night. I'm sure that's not the only thing he was out for.
He's an old man at this point. Like, I guess he's an old man in NBA terms. He's still pretty spry out on the streets, I suppose.
Yeah, I should have done a bachelor party to go down there and just to try the Wings. I don't know why I didn't think of that. That would have been a true YOLO moment in my life. Those Wings have to be good. I'm a big Lou Williams guy, and he's been on record hyping up the Wings. Yeah. I don't know if the wife would have loved that one. Where are you going? I'm going to Atlanta. I want to try the Magic City Wings. Anyway, we'll see if #hungover Harden bounces back after being benched the other night. We'll move on here. Big game to talk about. That was Atlanta and the Clippers, so it's kind of worth sticking to. Jalen Brunson and the Knicks taking on Charlotte. Really nice implied team total for New York. Brunson's come back from injury. Just playing massive minutes like Tibbs is still at the helm here. Pretty frustrating because he's not shooting the ball well. He had a really nice first half against Boston on Tuesday. So we're at a back-to-back here. The days are blending together. But he's a combined 12 for 40 from the floor in the last 2 games. I mean, we just need a little bit of positive regression. 2 for 14 from 3, and he's not even really getting to the line. Sooner or later, the guy's going for 50 DK points. 8,800 is a ridiculous price for him. Thoughts on Jalen Brunson and the Knicks today, Mr. Bales? Give me your best take on this one.
Yeah, I think I think Brunson's like one of the top plays. Charlotte's really bad against point guards. Brunson feels like a very clear get right spot after 2 rough games. They're also really bad against power forwards, though, and Towns is going to spend quite a bit of time at power forward there. So I think that you kind of have the nice situation where you can kind of just grab New York's 2 best players, 2 highest usage players in a plus matchup where both of them, it feels like it makes a lot of sense. Like athletic players, athletic bigs, they're who really dominate against Charlotte. You can push the pace. Jalen Brunson's going to get out in transition. He's going to get a few easy looks there. I think that Brunson's number 1, but I think that Towns is right behind him.
Yeah, another maybe low-key injury piece that we didn't touch on. Mitchell Robinson out. So do you think Towns might play more center tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I still think that they're gonna. He'll play more center, I guess, is the better way to put it. But I do think that he's going to also shift over to power forward at times because they're going to run. What's his name? His name is slipping. Yes. I think it results in more time for Towns at center than normal. But I also don't think that it really matters that much if we're being 100% honest. Like, you're going to be able to switch out and get those switches if you really want. But on top of it, like, are we super scared of Charlotte against centers even really at this point either? Like, not when you have someone of talent level, I think.
Yeah, look at these other New York pieces here. Really high implied team total, so someone's going to pop. Mike Hell is coming off a ceiling game. We haven't seen that in a while. Josh Hart is back. He's at the point where you just need him in the player pool if he's around 8K, because this is just kind of the vintage Josh Hart that was absolutely slaying the Sixers in the playoffs a couple years ago. I kind of was complaining about how we haven't seen that guy a couple of shows ago, and I think he heard me. Because, he's going to push 40 minutes if the game's competitive. If he's not scoring, he'll get 12 rebounds. He's going to pass the ball. He might get some defensive stats. But my issue was him scoring the ball. Now, he's been really efficient. He's starting to hit some threes. I don't love that we're kind of relying on a low-volume shooter. But, he's a guy that racks up these other peripherals. So even if he's, scoring in the teens, he has a chance to give you a high floor, and he could figure out a way to even – throw a ceiling game in there, even if he's not scoring. He's playing the minutes and he's kind of racking up the peripherals. What do you do with Josh Hart, or is he just kind of the epitome of a tournament player, Keith?
You just play him at this point. You're absolutely right. And I was with you on that hesitation at first because he started the year on the minutes limit and he was dealing with the injury and we weren't really sure what we were seeing. OG Anunoby went down. He jumps into the starting lineup, and dude just went to the moon. Absolutely started nuking everything. The same Josh Hart that we saw glimpses of last year, where he's live for a triple-double every time he steps on the floor, and he can score 50 fantasy points with only 10 actual points. Like, that is absolutely in the range of outcomes for Josh Hart. You just have to keep playing this dude. I think he has harmed the ceiling of Karl-Anthony Towns a little bit, so I would actually have Hart second over Towns. Agree that Brunson is first, but then give me some Josh Hart.
I'm seeing 28.5 PRA, which is pretty nice number, right, Bales?
Yeah, that's too low. I mean, there's the floor for rebounds and assists for Josh Hart is so nice, and then obviously, like, if you can drop 20 points, like, that's just a stupid number for him. And granted, Josh Hart's not going to shoot 70% from the field every single game, but like, Josh Hart's also not getting the best defender. So,
right. And a bad defensive game tonight too. Great matchup too. We worry about the blowout for these guys. That, it's just a risk. And with how volatile the NBA's been, if you've been watching Keith and our guy Grande and some other shows over their Fantasy Alarm too, and we talk about it here, like, why even predict the blowout? Like, God bless you if you're betting sides this year. I am not really betting sides that much. This is why I'm in the prop streets. Give me the props in the DFS. It's just been crazy. So Josh Harkin to Josh Hart. On the other side, and feel free to circle back if you guys want to add anything in, Khan just keeps balling too. I mean, the price is tough now, but I mean, we've seen it in him even with LaMelo back. The minutes are huge. If you're giving me a guy that can shoot the ball and he's playing 35 minutes, I'll consider him for my large field pool. I don't love that. If I'm playing one lineup, I'm probably not playing Khan. That being said, Brandon Miller's out. So it's just a really big slate. I don't know if he'd make my one lineup tonight, but he'll be in the pool. He's just playing exceptionally well, really poised as a rookie, and he's transitioning so well this year in a pretty bad environment too. So hats off to him for rolling with the punches in Charlotte there. Talk to me about Khan and the Hornets, Keith.
I think you absolutely nailed it. He is the only one that I have interest in. LaMelo's just not playing enough. Khan has really taken over as the top scoring option here. Without Brandon Miller, he's the guy, I think, in the offense. So I like that call. Agreed he wouldn't make my first lineup, but absolutely in the tournament pool today.
Anything catching your eyes on the Hornet side of things, Bells?
No, not really. I think it's like you have a bunch of guys playing, I don't want to say limited minutes, but like not big minutes. You have Bridges. He's playing bigger minutes, but like, do you feel good about him in the matchup? Not really. Khan, I have no problems with in terms of like DFS. I actually think that his number for DFS is pretty nice, but he said at like 18.5 points. It's just, I don't know. It feels a little too much for me. Overall, Charlotte's just like an avoid for me. I don't think that there's much going on there that I love.
I know they're your local team down there in the South. A little jealous. You have the luxury of having Eric Collins through your speakers. He's the best play-by-play guy. I love when he yells and he screams. He's the best, man. So
I'm gonna level with you. I don't watch a ton of NBA. If we're being 100% honest, we've hit the college basketball season that takes up all my nights. But yeah, I do. I mean, I'd like watching the Hornets play. It's funny because for how atrocious of a team that they've been for, who knows how long, just like over and over and over, they don't win, but they are fun. And I mean, that's got to count for something when you're watching them, right?
I guess. Yeah, sure.
You can go into the game and you're like, well, this one's probably not going to come out with a W. Let's see what happens. Like, let's see who can show off a little bit. They're pretty fun.
If you can, buy a $10 ticket to an NBA game once in a while, scratch the itch. I mean, why not? You could probably sit on the floor for $200, I'm sure, at some point. I mean, especially if they trade LaMelo. Like, God bless those outside sales ticket reps that are going to be trying to, hey, Mr. Bells, I'm calling to see if you want to buy season tickets next year. Like, yeah. Piss off, pal. Good luck. All right, we got 4 games left and we've been rambling. So if you have any questions on the remaining games on the DK slate here, feel free to drop them in the chat. Brooklyn and Chicago is a big one. Kobe White's out. Kevin Huerter's out. Trey Jones got the midday downgrade to questionable. Look at all these Q tags. The favorite letter for the Bulls. I mean, Jesus God. Okoro, Pat Williams, Zach Collins, Phillips, Dalen Terry. Some of these guys don't matter. But, Huerter's a big one. He's out. Trey Jones would be another big one. And it's a matchup against one of the league's worst teams in Brooklyn. So this thing has a chance to be squarely in play for DFS and prop betting here. As things currently stand, Keith, do you think Trey Jones plays? And give me some scenarios here of who you're interested in on the Bulls side.
So, first of all, this is one of my favorite games because Brooklyn's so bad defensively. The Bulls have been atrocious defensively. The Bulls will speed up, the Nets in this spot as well. So, like, this game environment, it could be sloppy as hell, but it should be so good for DFS. Like, I love the options here. And it's because it's a little bit of a confusing situation that I like it as well. I'm like, the field just isn't going to be entirely sure what to do with it. I don't know. Like, Giddey is really expensive, kind of in that Jalen Johnson mode where he absolutely could go for 65, but are we sure he's going to do that? I think there's a really good chance of him doing that with Kobe White out. And like, the biggest issue with targeting Brooklyn's defense is that they often get blown out. Well, I'm not sure the Bulls can blow anyone out right now. They have just lost to the Pelicans, the Hornets. There's one other really bad team in there that they just lost to. Like, this Bulls team is in shambles right now. I think this is going to be a close game, and I think it's going to be really great for fantasy. Having said that, there's a couple of my favorite props on the slate. I also love him in DFS. Nicholas Claxton should absolutely smash the Bulls in this spot. They have allowed the most points in the paint. Claxton for his career has been over 80% on percentage of his points that he scored in the paint. A little bit below that this season, down around 70%, but still getting a ton of his work in the paint. Like, Vucevic just cannot guard anyone anymore. Claxton is absolutely going to cook him. MPJ, I think you can take some shots on as well. We've seen big ceiling from him. The Bulls are decent at defending the three-point line, but I'm not really concerned about matchup when it comes to Michael Porter Jr. shooting threes. He should be able to get his. On the Bulls side, I touched on Giddey a little bit already. I just think the ceiling's enormous without Kobe White in there. If we get Trey Jones out further, like, Giddey's just going to have the ball in his hands the entire time. I'm interested in Trey Jones if he plays. The midday downgrade is not great. I usually lean out on a guy when we see that happen, but Jones has been playing through this injury since he came back, and it's been like 6 games now. So before he got downgraded, Trey Jones was actually one of my favorite bets of the slate as well. We've just been seeing more volume and better shooting from him recently. No Kevin Huerter, like that other guard scoring option. Trey Jones is filling that role right now without Huerter, without Kobe White. If he plays, the number sitting at 12.5, it's too low. He's been over that in 3 straight. He's, like I said, he's shooting the ball really well right now. I have some DFS interest in Trey Jones as well. Ayo Dosunmu is really popular, and rightfully so. Like, I'm not telling you not to play Ayo, but if you're looking for a pivot, I think the questionable tag on Trey Jones will hold his ownership down, and he's just not as comfortable of a click as Ayo, who does a little bit of everything. Trey Jones is a nice little tournament pivot there.
Yeah, some moving parts in this one, Bales, but some definitely enticing spots here, whether or not Trey Jones plays. What are your thoughts on this one collectively?
Yeah, I think Keith pretty much broke down most of what I'm thinking. I think he spoke wrong on one thing. He said that Vucevic can't defend anymore. I disagree. He never could. No point in time could that guy defend. It was, we can lose the anymore part of that. No, he nailed it. Nick Claxton's one of my favorite plays of the entire night. Dosunmu, I think, is really good. I think that he's way better if Trey Jones is out. I think that Keith basically nailed that. I don't believe you spoke about Noah Clowney, who has just been absolutely going off for Brooklyn. It feels like Brooklyn they're still giving like their vets plenty of time. Like Michael Porter Jr. obviously is doing anything that he wants on the court. Nick Claxton, I say vet, Claxton's still pretty young, but it also feels like they're really, really trying to get like the young guys in, which obviously Clowney's one of those. And he's been playing much bigger minutes recently. Finally looks really good. So I think that his lines are just a little bit too low. I don't necessarily know where I would actually rank him. I think that Claxton is my number 1 option for Brooklyn. And then I think I would probably be back and forth debating between Clowney or Michael Porter Jr. I think that they're really close. And then on the other side, I mean, Keith pretty much nailed it. If Trey Jones is out, Dosunmu becomes like one of the top options. Josh Giddey, obviously, like the offense is just running through him. And then Trey Jones, if he's in, also a little bit too low for his stuff. So, yeah, I mean, ugly game, but also just a beautiful game in terms of like what we like basketball for.
I could see your boy Buzz here breaking the slate if, whether or not Trey Jones, that just a great matchup, big minutes, no Kobe. I did write up 2 props in this game. I like Giddey. I like his assists. Over his last 10 games, he's averaging 3 and change more potential assists per game than he is across the entire season. You wouldn't know it by the lack of conversions in the game log, but really bad defense tonight. I know Kobe White's a capable scorer, but Keith, you mentioned Giddey should have the ball in his hands even more. So I think I think they'll get some more easy buckets against the Swiss Chiefs defense with the Nets over there. And then for the Nets, I like Michael Porter a lot. Terrence Mann's out. That actually matters. We know Cam Thomas has been out. Without Cam Thomas and Terrence Mann on the floor this year, you got about 130 minutes of Michael Porter, and he's averaging 30 and change per 36 minutes. Just a cool 30, right? So love when a guy can almost hit his 4X floor for DFS on points alone in what looks like a smash matchup. So very interesting game, and still some more moving parts we're waiting to see with Trey Jones, right? Trey Jones.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Moving on here, a couple games left. We'll stretch this thing out to about 5:10. Thanks for sticking with us. 3 games left. Hey, get on over there to our YouTube channel if you don't mind. Give us a follow. It's free. We'll be back on Friday with our guy, Jeff Edelstein, to talk about some NFL. So you can catch us there on our YouTube channel as well. Sacramento and Houston and the Rockets have been throttling people. Kevin Durant, 8,300. Another guy who, in theory, should give you a pretty high floor. You know, if he plays 40 minutes in any game, look out, especially in a matchup against a really bad defensive team. Şengün coming off just an awesome game against the Jazz. And the Kings are really bad in the paint too. So, you know, I think it's the widest spread on the slate. So obviously blowout matters a little bit here. But some of these Rockets are in really nice spots as well. Couple Q tags here for Sacramento. Can't say I really have any interest in anybody on the Kings, though. That about does it for me. I like Şengün, like Durant. You know, Thompson's always in play. Shepherd has been good, but his price is, I don't know, just for DFS purposes, not really going there. Talk to me about DFS and props, Keith. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'll be quick here. This is not one of my favorite games. I think Houston absolutely demolishes them. You can always play Şengün, Durant, Amen Thompson anytime you want in DFS. That's no different here. The Kings are a fantastic matchup. They play fast. They don't play any defense. On the Kings side, there's only one name that I would even consider, and he's coming off a really bad game. Keegan Murray is going to take a step forward this year. He started to show that. He's playing massive minutes. This is Keegan Murray's team now. We're going to see that eventually. This is not the spot. Houston's an awesome defense. I'm done.
Bales?
Yes, Şengün. They're bad against power forwards. They're bad against centers. The Kings are bad against bigs altogether. I don't really care if Adams is ruled out. If he's ruled in, none of it matters. It's Şengün. The issue is blowout. That's just kind of where we're sitting. And I do think that Luch is correct. Kevin Durant is completely fine. I like him more in terms of scoring than anything else. But again, blowout. I think that's probably a game, truthfully, that I would just avoid. But those are the 2 spots that I think are fun.
Detroit, Milwaukee. This is a fun one. Giannis has that technically has a Q tag on DK, but he's probable. And is there any can you play in Bells? Cover your ears. He hates narratives. Keith, can you add a narrative on here with the Giannis contract stuff here? I mean, obviously the guy's in play every slate because it's Giannis, but thoughts on Milwaukee and Detroit?
Yeah, future New York Knicks, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't know. There are some rumors out there. I don't know what to do exactly in this spot with them. Detroit's defense is concerning. Not that I'm ever concerned about Giannis. So play Giannis, play Cade, and then it gets pretty shaky beyond that. Both of them have an incredible ceiling. They've both been fantastic. Giannis, 2 games ago against Brooklyn, he did all of that in 2 quarters. He barely played in the 3rd quarter before the game got out of hand. And then he was in an incredible spot against Washington, and he had a floor game in a game that Washington ended up winning. I don't know. It's hard to break down that situation. Obviously, important conference game here if he's still invested in Milwaukee, but I don't know that he is. I feel much better about the Detroit side and them being a competitive team. Cade Cunningham is taking a legitimate step forward. I think you can look at some Jalen Duren as well, who's had a really nice ceiling this season. But not my favorite game overall to stack from a DFS point, and I don't have any props here.
How about Cade? If you were playing FanDuel DFS 2 days ago, he would have racked up 27 points on blocks and steals. That's just stupid. Okay. Yeah, Bells, we'll make this one quick. Really, really cool game, though, Detroit, Milwaukee. One thing I want to touch on is Kevin Porter has that Q tag. You don't have to, but if you want to, can you talk to me about AJ Green, who is another guy? The theme of the show is guys that are taking steps forward. He's playing minutes and he's racking up peripherals. Like, even in that Washington game, that was the KPJ nuke, and he's still at 4,700. I mean, I will take 27.8 DK points from him. So, like, Ryan Rollins is at the point here where I don't really want to play him in this matchup, even if KPJ sits. But I'm a little interested in AJ Green. So, what do you like in this game?
Was it to me?
Yeah. Or you can just pass it back.
That's my bad. I thought you said Keith, and I was like, let's roll.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, this is a way better real life game than like props game. I think there's two things though. A, Milwaukee is bad against point guards. And so then you have Cade there, specifically scoring point guards, which we know that Cade can do. And B, Detroit has a very good defense. But if there's a weak spot, it's against power forwards, which leads to Giannis. I don't know if I want to like attack anything very specific, but I do know if you use a site like Prize Picks, where they'll give you basically those props where you can double on two players together, they have Giannis and Cade at 58.5 points. Both of them come with like 50-point upside. I'm not saying like this probably isn't the type of game where they drop 50 real life points, either one of them. But realistically, either one could drop probably 40 plus, and you wouldn't really think twice about it. And, they're set under 60. So I think that if you want to run like a combo like that, I think it's a really good spot.
I love that call. Such a sharp outside the box way of thinking. Awesome call right there, Bales.
That's why he gets put on blast by TNT and Bleacher Report College Hoops. So definitely glad to have this new celebrity on the panel here tonight. We're almost at the 500 viewer mark. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Jalen Duren, I kind of like this spot for rebounds for him. The Bucks are second worst in rebounds per game. Duren leads the NBA with just over 22 rebound chances per game. And over his last 5, he's averaging over 24 rebound chances per game. Color me shocked that, a team with Miles Turner now at center is bad in the paint. I'm so surprised, right? Like, that was one of the more obvious downgrades when you went from Brook Lopez to Miles Turner. So I do like Durant. Yeah, we can see some fireworks here in terms of a competitive game. But AJ Green might be my greasy, large field, no ownership GPP play. See what happens with KPJ. That's a big one. Lastly, here before we get out of here, big one: Miami and Dallas. And if you're just jumping into NBA DFS for the first time this year without looking at anything, this is a game you would typically avoid. But now we're in December, and we're talking about two teams who are top 7 or 8 in the NBA in pace. I mean, if you've been following basketball the last 5 years, these are two teams that played extremely slow over the years. Now they're both good defensively too, but there's a decent total on this one. So, Mr. Eister, how do you weigh a high-paced game but two teams that are, advanced metrics say they're good defensively? Where are the pros and cons here, and how do you take advantage of it?
I generally lean into the pace side of that when breaking down the advanced stuff, and this is a good game to target because it's two top 10 pace teams, two really good defensive teams, but when you have extra pace, you have extra possessions, so the efficiency that you lose from the defense, you can actually recoup with a couple of extra possessions pretty easily. You don't need many more possessions for a player to see a nice little boost. So this is one of the best games on the entire slate. I don't love that Anthony Davis is probably the most popular player on the slate. Like, that just does not feel great to me. We've all seen the tweet come out, Anthony Davis to the locker room.
Oh, God.
He just smashed in his last game. It's not a fantastic matchup for him with Bam Adebayo on the other side. Khalil Ware has played well as also. I don't know what to do with Anthony Davis chalk. I want to play some other stuff in this game for sure. Speaking specifically to Dallas first, Cooper Flagg might be taking that step. Like, we talked about it a little bit. Like, he's been really, really good. We need to see it alongside Anthony Davis, perhaps, unless PJ Washington is out, in my opinion. If PJ Washington is out, Cooper Flagg might be my favorite play on the entire slate. Like, it's just going to be an awesome spot for him.
We've seen that.
Go ahead.
We've seen back-to-back games finally. He hasn't strung back-to-back games with high usage rates, He's been a little scattered in that department, but we've seen 2 high usage games from him in back-to-back games, 32% against the Clippers, 28% against Denver. That's a good sign, I think.
Yep, absolutely. And just from the Anthony Davis could spend 10 minutes in the locker room, and then so give me an underweight stance on Anthony Davis, and how do I get leverage on that? It's Cooper Flag smashing while he's off the court. Absolutely love him as a tournament play today. I love the Miami side of this as well. There's some important news here with Norman Powell out, who's had a huge usage rate this season. I think a guy like Andrew Wiggins is super sneaky in this spot. I think Davion Mitchell is even sneaky. One of my favorite bets on the entire day, Davion Mitchell over 6.5 assists, has really settled into that distributor role with Tyler Hero back. He's had double-digit assists in 3 of his last 4. 6.5 is too low. He just played Dallas and only had 4 assists or something like that in this matchup. I don't want to say that I don't buy Dallas's defense is top 10, but it's a little hard for me to trust that that's a real number going forward this season. That's just too low of a number for a guy who's live for 10 assists. Wiggins has been playing awesome. We talked about it last week. The dude just doing everything for this team. It's rebounds, it's assists on top of scoring as well. And he's a good defensive player as well who can rack up a couple of stocks for you. So I love Andrew Wiggins in this spot. Hero still a little bit limited from a minute standpoint. I think that's going to keep his ownership really low, lower than it should be perhaps in this spot. So I don't even take some shots there. And then Bam just absolutely nuked as well. You can always play him. There's a lot to like in this game. I think the pivot from AD on the Dallas side and then playing into some of this Miami stuff with Norman Powell off the floor, I think it's just an awesome spot to target tonight.
I will ask you both of this. I'll ask you first, since you do projections. This guy on the screen here, without Norman Powell, what does that do for him?
Yeah, a guy who's lost his role recently, which it's a good problem for the Heat to have. They have too many good players, which is a great problem. I think that gives him that high 20s role off the bench back. I don't think he starts, if that's your question. I think they will go back to Pelle Larsson, assuming that he is good to go. He is also on the injury report, I believe. Yes, questionable for Pelle Larsson. But I think if Larsson's able to go, he is the guy that would start. If Larsson is out, I think they might go back to the double big lineup, honestly, and just slide Bam to power forward and play Ware. For whatever reason, they like Jaime in that 6-man role. He was awesome in it. And like I said, he just kind of got pushed out because they had too many guys with Hero back. Davion Mitchell playing too well to take off the floor. Khalil Ware playing too well to take off the floor. What do you do here? Is the problem that the Miami Heat have, and it's a good problem for them. Now with Norman Powell out, Jaime should step right back into that role that we saw while Hero was out, which is upper 20s minutes off the bench and doing a little bit of everything. So very much in play, but I do not think he starts, if that was your question.
I don't care. I kind of prefer he doesn't if we're playing large field tournaments. I mean, I love the Wiggins call. You're also cashing Wiggins while he's playing well, which helps in this spot without Powell. It's you're getting the bump and you're getting him while he's playing well. Hawkins kind of on the other end of that equation. Can't really say if he's playing well if they're messing with his role, but I will take for large field tournaments high 20s minutes, possibly in a high paced game if no one's going to play this guy. I mean, 5,600, a little bit risky, but don't hate it. Dallas side, just my thoughts quickly, and then I'll throw it to Bales, and I'm done. 8,800, he's probably going to be 80% owned in cash games. You probably just play him in cash games.
Yep.
If he scores 100 points, you have him. That's fine. If he gets hurt, you're still alive to cash and double us if he's going to be damn near 80% owned. So tournaments, that's just a crazy price tag to think about. I'm probably going to just close my eyes and click the button to some capacity. Cooper Flag has been great. I will like Cooper Flag even more if PJ is out. The one thing, speaking of guys who might be on the move and lost his role is D'Angelo Russell. They're just tired of him already. Speaking of great college players, Bales, do you want to talk to me about Ryan Nembhard? Thoughts on him generally?
Yeah, I actually do. He's one of my favorite plays. They had his assists set at 4.5, which is just an absolute joke if we're being honest. got up to 35 minutes in his last game, had 10 assists in that. I know Keith said earlier, Davion Mitchell's like, it's just too low of a thing for a guy who can get 10 assists. That's Ryan Nembhard if they're giving him the minutes. He actually just played, 15 minutes against Miami and dropped like 7 assists against him in that game. If we remember when Andrew Nembhard came into the NBA and basically we were like, what's he going to possibly do? And he came out and he was an assist guy. Ryan's like the exact same player. Andrew always had more scoring potential, and I don't think that Ryan Nembhard ever becomes like a high-end starter, like one that you can rely on like Andrew Nembhard. But the assists are there. It was watching him pass the ball at Gonzaga was absolutely absurd. And he's just getting a matchup against a team that the entire season has given up assists to point guards. Like quite literally from basically the first game of the season, they've been in like the bottom 8 of the NBA in assists allowed to point guards. So now add in a dude who you pretty much can assume generally isn't going to be this scoring monster. I know he's coming off a really good game where like he basically couldn't miss. That's not who he is though. He's way more of a facilitator. And when you look at like Anthony Davis, Cooper Flagg, if you have PJ Washington in, like there's guys who can score around him. So 5 assists is just, it's so low for someone like Nembhard. Obviously, assuming he gets the minutes, like I don't think it's 100% out of the question that he struggles early and they only play him like 18 minutes in the game or whatnot. But I think most likely he gets like 25 to 28, and that should be enough time to beat that low of a number.
Yeah, Keith, I'll ask you that. I feel like he played so well. They want to at least give him a long leash. PJ Washington didn't play in the last game, and Nembhard started. Would you expect Nembhard to start again against Miami?
Yes, I do. I think it's like the thing that gives me pause here is Brandon Williams kind of did the same thing where he had just a great little stretch there, and then all of a sudden D'Angelo Russell just nuked him one game. Like D'Angelo Russell was going off in that game, don't get me wrong, but they were really quick to make the change. So I am a little concerned about that, but I agree with everything Bale said. I was looking for his assist numbers earlier when I was doing some content and could not find anything out there. 4.5 is a number that definitely jumps out. Love that call. I'm going to add that as soon as we get off the show here. I do believe that he jumps back into the starting lineup, and I wouldn't expect more than 30 minutes, but I do think that's in the range of outcomes. Bale's nailed it right there with 28 to 28 minutes, I think is very much in it. And Brandon Williams just takes a back seat to him at this point. They saw something really good. I think they want to try to see it again.
15 potential assists last game. Obviously, he converted 2/3 of them, hit 12 of 14 shots. But the thing is, like in that game, he could have scored 0 real points and still almost, he would have hit about a 4x floor at 4,400 with no actual points in that game. So if he starts, I just think a lot of things have to go wrong for him to kill your team, your fantasy life. What kind of ownership are you seeing on him throughout the day? Is it high?
I'll look at that. Under 10%. So we're so good there, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, things change as we move closer to lock, but right now I have him under 10%, which I love that number.
I feel like Anthony Davis helps him. Sorry to cut you off. I mean, just picking rolls and making life easier. I think there's a nice correlation, possibly. I didn't really look into it, but I would think from an X's and O standpoint, AD would help Nembhard.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great spot for him if he gets the minutes, and that's what I wanted to speak on a little bit more. Is like they've already given a look to D'Angelo Russell. They've already given a look to Brandon Williams. They've even tried Cooper Flagg at the point. Like, why not give this kid a couple of games and see what he can do? I feel really good about him playing 25 plus minutes in this spot.
Two very quick points based on those two things are, one, Nembhard was a priority free agent for Dallas.
Undrafted free agent. Yep.
Yeah, they signed him almost immediately. So you would think like they minimally are want to try to get something out of him. Also, he's not young. He's not a 19-year-old that they're trying to develop. Like, obviously they are indeed trying to develop him. He wasn't like a top high-end guy, but he's like 22 already. Like, he's more ready for essentially an NBA role than a lot of the guys that come in. And second, to Lucha's point, looking at on Fantasy Labs, I mean, the correlation with Nembhard, Flagg, and then Nemhard and Anthony Davis are both just way higher than anyone else on the floor with him. So I'm assuming, the pick and roll works well with that.
If he's going to be sub 10%, I mean, I'd be happy if he was 12, 13%. In this day and age, if you're multi-entering DFS, how aggressive you think you need to be even more aggressive with your stand. So it's just the way it is. Before we get out of here, favorite bets of the night. I'll just rattle I wrote some stuff today, and some news broke since then, but I still really like Michael Porter Jr. Keith made a good point. Don't think the Bulls are going to blow the Nets out. Can they blow out anybody at this point? Don't know. Porter Jr. has been great without Cam Thomas and Terrence Mann, and we know he's a microwave. As long as the game's close, he should be able to get whatever shot he really wants. So I like Michael Porter, and I like the Giddey assist. I parlayed MPJ 30 points and Giddey 10 plus assists at better than 4-1 earlier today. Just a sprinkle, I don't want to get too crazy there. So I like that game in general if it stays close. Keith, what do you like today?
I love Anthony Black. I like his over points, rebounds, assists at 21.5. This guy's been crushing that number for several games now. I believe in the breakout. I think it's real. I also think the matchup against the Spurs is underrated in this spot without Wemby. So Anthony Black over 21.5, one of my favorites. And I had one more that I wanted to throw out here. Kawhi Leonard over, it's 23.5 points now, still too low. Has been smashing. Turmoil in that Clippers locker room. Like, who knows what's going on there, but Kawhi is the one guy I feel really good about. And I also think there's a chance he plays more than the 30 minutes that we've been seeing here. He, like, 23.5 points is nothing for this guy. Give me Kawhi.
I also wrote up Anthony Black, so maybe I'm doing something right. By the way, Keith Eister, perfect 6-0 plus a ladder sweep, if you want to call that a 7-0 last night. All of our stuff on props.com is free. You can find all of our stuff there. Not letting you off the hook, Bells, before you give us your favorite play of the day. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, Nemhard over 4.5 assists. It's just too low. Outside of that, I definitely thought Keith was going to go Claxton, so I didn't even bring it up here. But Nickeil Alexander-Walker over 20.5 points, way too low. He's just scoring absurdly well, and the matchup's too good.
Love that. Again, check our stuff out. Props.com, 100% free. We'll be back on Friday, 4:00 Eastern, with the captain, Jeff Edelstein, to talk about this upcoming NFL slate. Do us a favor. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you liked what you heard today, give our YouTube channel a follow. That would be a great help so we can keep doing what we're doing here at props.com for free. So if you're just tuning in, feel free to rewind the show. We broke down every game with the news that we had, talking some DFS and some sports betting. There is some stuff up for Thursday Night Football already on the site over there at Props. And that's about it. So good luck tonight, everybody. For Justin Bales and Keith Eister, I am Justin Carlucci. Good luck tonight, everybody, and we'll see you Friday for our NFL show.